Carla, your online doctor, with today's Live in 5. Today is Thursday, March 25th. It is 5 p.m. and it happens to be my birthday. So, thank you to everybody who's wished me a happy birthday, whether it's on social media or by phone or text. It's been a very nice day. Okay, so Tuesday we were talking about insulin resistance, the pathologic condition in which cells fail to respond normally to insulin. Normally, insulin triggers cells to take in glucose from your blood to utilize it as an energy source. Okay, when this doesn't happen, your blood glucose levels will rise and can result in type 2 diabetes and subsequent cardiovascular disease, hypertension, dementia, many other issues. Okay, so when you have insulin resistance, what happens is, again, your insulin levels continue to go up, trying to force that glucose into the cell, but the cell is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the glucose levels also will go up. Now, doctors tend to measure only glucose and hemoglobin A1C when they're looking to see if you're pre-diabetic, and they don't measure your insulin levels. But if you look at all three, you should be able to kind of get a better picture of what's going on and then make lifestyle changes to effectively lower those numbers before any disease sets in. So pre-diabetic can come along, again, as we've talked about, with perimenopause, and you don't want to allow that to progress. So, and many people believe, obviously, the sooner you make changes in your lifestyle choices, the better. It's always the way to go, okay, since preventing a problem is always better than treating one. Now, first thing to do is to control your diet, obviously, right? The foods that drive glucose and insulin levels the most are obvious: simple, refined, processed sugars, carbohydrates, okay? That's not just carbohydrates like, oh, I can't eat a piece of fruit, okay? You're looking more at the processed, refined sugars that come with crappy food. Let's just put it real, okay? This includes refined flour in simple breads. I'm not talking about necessarily whole grain breads. Can also come in pastas, bagels, sugar added to foods, and high glycemic fruits. So yes, there are some fruits like pineapple, banana, mango, and papaya. These create a surge in glucose and therefore a surge in insulin. And you'll not be able to burn fat because insulin locks the utilization of fat from the stored fat cells, okay, during this process while you are consuming these sugars. Grains are individualized and may need to be stopped or reduced depending on how your body responds to them. High fibrous vegetables are excellent, and those include broccoli, Brussels sprouts, carrots, and cauliflower. So understand that if you were eating only sugar, it wouldn't be as much of a problem because you're not going to be worried about consuming or utilizing fat at that moment, right? If you're using it, let's say you're exercising, I'm not a proponent of this, but and you took in sugar to give you energy, that is different than when you consume foods, including fats. Your body is going to use the sugar, store the fat, and not burn the fat, and you're going to gain weight. Okay? So, a new terminology that I heard, which I thought was very fascinating, was the term energy toxicity. This is when your body is showing signs of metabolic dysfunction with elevated glucose and possibly elevated triglycerides and cholesterol and energy stored in your body in the form of fat. This is a sign of excess energy. Okay, so you have excess fat, you have excess cholesterol, triglyceride, and excess sugar. Your body is energy toxic, but you're not using it as fuel. So fat energy and glucose energy combined is energy toxicity. This is, so basically we need to shed the excess energy. So if you prioritize in your diet proteins, okay, then that is used for, the proteins are used for muscle repair, muscle synthesis, cell structure. It's also used to, the amino acids are used for detoxification in your liver, making neurotransmitters and enzymes. Lots of great uses for proteins in the body, not as a protein, I mean, as an energy source. You are using the protein to do all of the body's functions. So this ties into the second thing we can do, especially for perimenopausal women, which is resistance training. Okay, in perimenopause, we tend to lose lean body mass and increase fat mass, and we want to turn that around. So this can be lightweight lifting or Nautilus type machine workouts, yoga, basically lifting weights against gravity or pushing to the point of muscle failure, or like where you feel like you just can't do another push up, let's say. Okay, so 10 push ups may be your point of exhaustion, but maybe you could do 5 more. And if you do 5 more, then your muscles are, you're just like, you can't get yourself off the floor. Okay, so you want to almost break down the muscles so they have to respond with repair, and therefore they're going to get stronger by storing more glycogen and burning more fat. So this is really a good thing. I'm not talking about bulking up and becoming, muscle muscle lady. I'm talking about just simply getting your muscles to build, to break down and build and break down and build, and this way you are maintaining that lean body mass. Now the third thing we can do in this area of insulin resistance is stress management. Okay, because elevated cortisol makes us insulin resistant. Cortisol is our fight or flight hormone, and it leads to elevated glucose to be used to run away from danger. Okay, but in chronic elevated states, when cortisol is elevated all the time, we don't utilize glucose because its effect on insulin is resistance. We don't want to force glucose into the cells. We want to keep it in the blood. We want to make sure that we have a fuel source. So things you can do obviously for stress management, we've talked about this so many times. Take a walk, meditate, light yoga, tai chi, breath work, aromatherapy, balancing techniques, breathing techniques, things that you can do to calm the mind and help to lower your cortisol. So that is what I have for you today. It's very, very interesting stuff. I really encourage you to get tested for some of these things. Okay, so get tested for your fasting glucose, your fasting insulin, your hemoglobin A1C. You can throw in, if you're perimenopausal, get those hormone levels checked, get your cortisol checked, get your thyroid levels checked, testosterone, women, get that checked. We'll talk more about this in the coming days. And get your melatonin checked. Okay, these are all hormones that are intertwined, and you want to make sure that you are dealing with these levels appropriately. So on that note, and on my birthday, I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will see you again next Tuesday for another Live in 5.